Shalom, my friends. I am Rabbi David, and today I am going to reveal the ancient spiritual technology hidden within the story of the one man in the Torah who never died. A secret that, once understood, will completely shatter your understanding of life, death, and your own eternal potential. This is not a metaphor. This is a protocol for achieving a state of consciousness so powerful it transcends the very laws of physical decay. But before I unveil this powerful truth, I need you to make a declaration of readiness. Go to the comments right now and write, "I am eternal." This is your first step in signaling to the universe that you are open to receive this truth, not just as information, but as a personal activation. Our mission here is to gather an army of 100,000 souls dedicated to mastering this spiritual technology. If you are ready to be one of them, subscribe to this channel now. And for those who are truly serious about accelerating their journey, for a limited time, I am opening the doors to the Torah Millionaire Business School for just $299. This is where I unveil the complete Torah system for wealth, health, and freedom. The doors are closing soon. The link is in the comments. Now, let us begin. I understand the feeling of being spiritually dead, because I was once a walking corpse myself. It is a strange confession for a rabbi to make, but it is the truth. For years, I was a prisoner to a silent, hollow emptiness. On the outside, I was performing my duties. I led prayers, I gave sermons, I counseled my community. I did everything a rabbi is supposed to do. But inside, I was a ghost. My prayers felt like they were hitting a brass ceiling. The sacred words of the Torah, which I had studied my entire life, felt like dry, academic texts. The joy, the fire, the living presence of God that I spoke about from the pulpit was a complete fraud. I was not living it. I was a spiritual actor, playing a part. I know this because I lived it. I would stand before the congregation, and I would speak of connection, of asterisk dom vekut asterisk, of cleaving to God, and I would feel like the biggest hypocrite in the world. I remember one Yom Kippur, the holiest day of the year. I was leading the final prayer service. The entire synagogue was electric with emotion. People were weeping, their souls laid bare before the Creator, and I felt nothing. I was just reading the words, my mind thinking about the breakfast meal. The shame of that moment was a physical weight. I felt like a spiritual corpse dressed in the robes of a living man. I tried everything the world tells you to do. I prayed longer. I studied harder. I gave more charity. I added more rituals, but nothing worked. The emptiness only grew, and my hope was turning to ash. I was a rabbi who could not find God. The enemy we are all fighting is what I call spiritual gravity. It is the insidious, invisible force that constantly pulls our consciousness downward, away from the spiritual and into the purely physical. It is the lie, whispered into our souls from the moment we are born, that the material world is the only reality. The hidden mechanism of this enemy is that it operates through the five senses. It convinces you that what you can see, touch, taste, hear, and smell is all that exists. It creates a spiritual blockage that makes the presence of God feel like a distant concept, a fairy tale, instead of a living, breathing reality that permeates every atom of existence. Spiritual gravity is what makes your prayers feel empty. It is what makes your spiritual practice feel like a chore. It is what makes you feel separate, alone, and mortal. The cost of surrendering to this enemy is a life of quiet desperation. It is a slow, imperceptible death of the soul, long before the body gives out. It is the tragic reality of arriving at the end of your days, having lived only half a life in black and white, never knowing the vibrant, infinite color of your own divine essence. You were designed for eternity, but you settle for the finite. You were created to walk with God, but you stumble through the darkness alone. This is the price of spiritual gravity. But what if I told you that the code to defying this spiritual gravity, the technology for achieving spiritual immortality, was embedded in the Torah thousands of years ago, in one of the most bizarre and overlooked verses in the entire Bible? In the book of Genesis, chapter 5, we are given a long and frankly boring genealogy. So-and-so lived this many years, had a son, and then he died. It is a monotonous list of human mortality, until we get to one man, one name that breaks the pattern. Hanoch, Enoch. The text says in Genesis 5 verse 24, "And Enoch walked with God, and he was not, for God took him." Every other person in that list died, but not Enoch. The Torah uses a completely unique phrase for him. Asterisk, Einanu asterisk. He was not. And why was he not? Asterisk, Ki lakach oto Elohim. Asterisk, for God took him. This is not a euphemism for death. This is something else entirely. The Kabbalists, the great mystics of our tradition, teach that this verse holds one of the deepest secrets of human potential. The key is in the phrase, Vayit halech Hanoch et ha-Elohim asterisk. And Enoch walked with God. What does it mean to walk with God? It does not mean he was a good person. It does not mean he followed the rules. It means his consciousness was in a state of constant, unbroken, moment-to-moment alignment with the divine. He did not just pray at set times. His entire life was a prayer. Every breath, every step, every thought was a conversation with the Creator. He so completely fused his consciousness with the divine consciousness that the boundary between the two dissolved. He did not die. He ascended. He was taken, because there was no longer any difference between him and the God he was walking with. The Zohar, the foundational text of Kabbalah, teaches that Enoch became the great angel Metatron, the prince of the divine presence. He transformed his physical body into pure spiritual energy. He defeated spiritual gravity. That night, after studying the story of Enoch, I made a decision. I was done being a spiritual corpse. I would no longer be a victim to spiritual gravity. I understood that my problem was not a lack of faith or a lack of ritual. My problem was that I was praying asterisk to asterisk God, but I was not asterisk walking with asterisk God. I performed the very ritual I am about to teach you. I declared that my life would no longer be a series of religious performances, but a constant, living meditation. At first, nothing happened externally, but internally, a fire was lit. The hollowness in my chest was replaced by a quiet, humming warmth. The next day, I was walking to the synagogue, and for the first time, I did not just see the trees. I felt their life force. I did not just hear the birds. I heard the song of creation. God was not in the synagogue. God was in everything. Within a week, my prayers were no longer empty words. They were electric conversations. Within a month, the joy I thought I had lost forever came flooding back. I had not changed my circumstances. I had changed my consciousness, and my circumstances were forced to follow. I had learned to walk with God. Now, let me give you the practical application. I call it the Enoch Elevation Protocol. It is a 3-step process to systematically defy spiritual gravity and cultivate a consciousness of eternal connection. This is the technology of how to walk with God. Asterisk. Asterisk. Step 1. The morning declaration of alignment. Asterisk. Asterisk. Every morning, before your feet hit the floor, before you check your phone, before the world floods into your mind, you will say out loud, "Today, I do not just believe in God. Today, I walk with God. My thoughts are God's thoughts. My words are God's words. My actions are God's actions." This is not positive thinking. This is a declaration of intent. You are programming your consciousness for the day, setting your spiritual GPS to the frequency of the divine. You are choosing to be a vessel, not just a believer. The reason this works is because it shifts you from a passive state of faith to an active state of co-creation. You are no longer waiting for God to show up. You are actively aligning with the presence that is already here. The Kabbalists teach that the first thought of the morning sets the spiritual tone for the entire day. If your first thought is anxiety, you will carry that frequency into every interaction. If your first thought is alignment, you become a magnet for divine synchronicity. This declaration is not a request. It is a command to your own soul. Asterisk. Step 2. The Midday Consciousness Correction. Asterisk. Throughout your day, you will inevitably be pulled down by spiritual gravity. You will get angry in traffic. You will feel anxiety about a work email. You will get lost in the illusion of the material world. The moment you notice this, the moment you feel that old familiar disconnect, you will perform a consciousness correction. You will pause, take one deep breath, and say to yourself the Hebrew word *Hineni*. Hineni* means, "Here I am." It is what Abraham said when God called him. It is what Moses said at the burning bush. It is the most powerful word for bringing yourself back to the present moment, back into alignment. You are not judging yourself for getting lost. You are simply, gently correcting your course. This is the walking part of walking with God. It is a constant process of returning, of realigning, of choosing the eternal over the temporary, again and again and again. The Talmud teaches that a righteous person falls 7 times and rises 8. The walk is not about never falling. It is about the speed and grace with which you rise. Every time you say *Hineni*, you are exercising your spiritual muscles, and like any muscle, they grow stronger with use. Step 3. The Evening Gratitude Integration. Before you go to sleep, you will take out a journal and write down 3 specific moments from your day where you felt the presence of God. It could be a beautiful sunset. It could be a moment of insight during a meeting. It could be the feeling of your child's hand in yours. You must be specific. Not, "I'm grateful for my family," but "I am grateful for the way my daughter laughed when we were reading her bedtime story." The reason this is so critical is because it trains your brain to look for God. It retroactively scans your day through a filter of divine connection, proving to your subconscious mind that God was with you all along. You are integrating the day's walk into your very being, strengthening the neural pathways of divine connection, making it easier to find the next day. This is how the walk becomes your default state, not an exception. The Zohar teaches that before we sleep, our soul ascends to give an accounting of the day. When you end your day with gratitude, you are sending your soul upward with a gift, and it returns to you in the morning with blessings. This is not metaphor. This is the technology of how consciousness works. Now, let me tell you about a student of mine, Michael. Michael was a hedge fund manager, a multimillionaire, and he was spiritually bankrupt. He came to me and said, "Rabbi, I have everything and I feel nothing. My life is a black hole of meaningless transactions." He implemented the Enoch Elevation Protocol. Within 30 days, he told me something remarkable. He said, "For the first time, I see my employees not as assets, but as souls." Within 90 days, he completely restructured his company's bonus system to be more equitable. Within a year, he started a foundation that has now helped thousands of underprivileged children. His net worth did not change, but his life's value became infinite. Then there is Sarah, a young mother of 3 who was drowning in overwhelm. She felt like a maid, a cook, and a chauffeur, but not a person. She started the protocol. Within 2 weeks, she told me the screaming in her head had stopped. She said, "I used to resent my children for needing me. Now I see that their need is my doorway to walking with God." She transformed the mundane into the sacred. Her marriage, which had been on the brink of collapse, began to heal. Her husband told me, "I don't know what happened to Sarah, but it's like I got my wife back." And then there is David, a man who came to me in the depths of a health crisis. He had been diagnosed with a chronic autoimmune condition. The doctors told him he would be on medication for the rest of his life. He was 42 years old, and he felt like his body was betraying him. He started the Enoch Elevation Protocol, not to cure his disease, but to find peace in the midst of his suffering. Something extraordinary happened. Within the first week, he noticed that his pain levels decreased on the days he was most consistent with the protocol. Within 3 months, his inflammation markers, which his doctors had been monitoring, dropped by 60%. Within a year, he was off all medication. His doctor called it a spontaneous remission. David called it walking with God. He told me, "Rabbi, I don't know if the protocol healed my body, but I know it healed my soul, and my body followed." Now I know the objection that is rising in your mind. "But Rabbi, this sounds beautiful, but I am not a holy person. I am flawed. I get angry. I have doubts. I am not worthy of walking with God." I understand that feeling of unworthiness. But here is the truth you must grasp. Enoch was not perfect. The Midrash, our ancient commentary, teaches that Enoch was a simple shoemaker, and with every stitch he made, he would unify a name of God. He was not a prophet or a king. He was an ordinary man who did an ordinary job with extraordinary consciousness. Your flaws do not disqualify you from walking with God. They are the very ground upon which the walk takes place. God is not looking for perfect angels. He is looking for flawed human beings who are willing to keep correcting their course, who are willing to keep saying asterisk, Hineni asterisk, here I am, in the midst of their messy, beautiful human lives. Stop focusing on your unworthiness and start focusing on your willingness. Another objection is, "Rabbi, I don't have time for this. My life is too busy." I've heard this 1,000 times, and here is my response. You don't have time not to do this. The 30 seconds it takes to do the morning declaration will save you hours of wasted energy fighting anxiety and stress. The 1-second consciousness correction will prevent you from making decisions out of fear and anger that you will spend days regretting. The 3 minutes it takes to do the evening integration will give you a quality of sleep that no pill can provide. This is not a time problem. This is a priority problem. You are prioritizing the urgent over the important. You are prioritizing the temporary illusion over the eternal reality. The Enoch Elevation Protocol does not take time. It creates time. It expands your consciousness, and in doing so, it expands your experience of time itself. So here is my challenge to you. For the next 21 days, you will commit to the Enoch Elevation Protocol. Not 30 days, not a year, just 21 days, the time it takes to form a new habit. Here are your 3 immediate, non-negotiable actions. 1. Tonight, before you sleep, write down the morning declaration on a piece of paper and put it by your bed. 2. Set a recurring alarm on your phone for midday with the label Hineni to remind you to perform a consciousness correction. 3. Go out and buy a new journal that will be your dedicated gratitude integration journal. And here is a bonus tip for the truly committed. Find an accountability partner. Share this video with one person and commit to texting each other every night the single word "done" after you have completed your 3 steps. Remember, the Talmud teaches, a prisoner cannot free himself from prison. You need a brother or a sister on this journey to hold you accountable to your own liberation. And now, I want to end with a blessing. May you be blessed with the courage to believe that you are an eternal soul. May you be blessed with the wisdom to know that walking with God is not a destination, but a direction. And may you be blessed with the strength to defy the gravity of this world, to rise above the illusion of separation, and to claim your birthright as a co-creator of reality, a walker with God who does not just live and die, but who is taken, in every moment, into the arms of the infinite. I am praying for you. Shalom.